Welcome to another edition of Between Two Pines here at the District of Muskoka. Spring is a very busy season as we move into the other Canadian season other than winter, which is construction. We are planning a lot of road work, and we're going to talk about that today. So with me is the Director of Engineering and Transportation, Mark Misko. But before we talk about our summer projects this year, we want to talk about something really exciting, which is the first ever transportation master plan for the District of Muskoka. Mark is heading this up, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what it is and why. But it's kind of interesting. The district road network, a lot of our district roads, we inherited. They were King's highways, provincial highways, built to a very high standard. And we have like logging roads that became district roads. And sometimes what's underneath them is kind of, up in the air. So it's a bit of a challenge planning for the future, and the roads are busier than ever. So tell us about what is a transportation master plan and why we're doing it.
Yeah, so this is the first transportation plan that we've got, like you said, introduced for the district, and we're kicking that off now. A lot of what that entails is looking at our road network. We've got growing communities. How do people move within them, throughout them? How do they connect to each other from a transportation perspective? So things like active transportation, vehicular transportation, obviously commercial, recreational. Sure. People are driving to work, people are driving to the rink, people are very busy in our communities. We want to figure out or learn how to best serve that from a public perspective and how we can connect them across communities.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, so part of the why we're doing this is it's just busier, right? I mean, there's more people living in Muskoka, but there's obviously lots of visitors. And then another issue that I know we're looking at that's really topical right now is like, what do you do in emergencies in very severe weather? Like, what are we looking at there?
So, as everyone's aware, we've had two closures on Highway 11 this past winter, one for the ice storm and one for a pretty big snowstorm just before Christmas. So, how do we manage that? If that's going to increase into the future, how do we look at things like emergency detour routes? How do we set those up? Make sure that we don't have large transport trucks getting stuck on some of our secondary roads. That Highway 11 gets closed down. Yeah. People are still going to want to go places. We need to be able to provide that service to them.
Yeah, and this became a real issue, you're right, during these two storms where it was tough to even resupply into Gravenhurst and Bracebridge at times, because often there's only the one route or one backup route to the highway.
That's right.
So glad we're looking at that. And so this is a process we want to involve the public in. How do they get involved?
Absolutely. All modes of transportation, we want to hear about them. Be it, bicycling, riding, snowmobiling, ATVing, everything that the public's doing on our transportation network, we want to hear about that. The best way to get a hold of us on that is to reach out through our Engage survey, which we have live now. It'll be open for most of the summer.
Yeah.
We want to catch as many residents and visitors as we can and get them involved in this process, because it really helps us shape the next 20, 30, 40 years of where we're headed from a transportation perspective across the entire district.
And speaking of summer, you guys are going to be at some community events this summer around Muskoka.
That's right. To help get some feedback on the transportation master plan, we're looking at actually getting involved out in the community, whether it be through farmers markets, community events that are planned. We're working with our solid waste division for waste management, who currently has their master plan underway as well. So we're teaming up with them at local events to get more feedback from the public.
Yeah, huge area, almost 5,000 square kilometers with thousands of kilometers of roads. And so, all modes are important, but of course, driving is so important for everybody to get around the district, and everybody's always interested in what roads are going to get fixed and when, some of the work that we have planned for the summer. So there's a couple of big projects underway and then sort of the routine maintenance. Tell us what's happening this summer.
Sure. Every spring we like to kick off as much construction as we can. It's a short season. We have to stay busy with it. Along those lines, we've got a couple of what I'll call our flagship projects. We've got the Bay and Beyond project is kicking off again. That's a full, urban section rebuild through downtown Gravenhurst, east to west. This will be year 2 of that project of a 3-year plan. We've also got some work that we're trying to line up for Silver Bridge as well. Everybody's aware of that unfortunate closure that we've had to keep in place for public safety until since early winter. We're looking at how can we rehab that. That's coming up today at council. And then longer term, we're kicking off all of our what I'll call routine maintenance, and that's resurfacing, spot repairs on all of our roads. More info is available through our website, obviously, on that type of planning and road work. And once again, the public completely recommend that they use Municipal 511 to really see how that could impact their daily commute and look for our advance notice signage when they're out on the road.
Yeah, folks, I know a lot of people use mobile apps now, whether it's Google Maps and Waze and those sorts of things. 511, Municipal 511 is a really helpful tool to understand how to get around and what construction impacts or closures are out there. But of course, go to our website, muskoka.on.ca, to learn more about our plans for summer road work done in close coordination with our area municipalities. That's something that people often ask us, like, do you coordinate this work? Absolutely we do, down to the point of issuing contracts together, because that saves money for the taxpayer. That's you. As always, there's a lot going on here in Muskoka. In this issue in Between Two Pines, we're also spotlighting the Solid Waste Master Plan, our roadmap to a cleaner future. We're also featuring the Enviro Hub Day, which will be an opportunity for some local conversations about climate change and climate action here. Plus, we reflect on the recent Little Norway commemorative event at Muskoka Airport. It was a really meaningful tribute to the Norwegian history at our Muskoka Airport and here in the district. All this and more in Between Two Pines this month. Thank you, Mark Misko, for joining us. Stay connected and informed by subscribing today at muskoka.on.ca. Thanks for watching.